To you, our viewer in Nigeria and anywhere around the world. This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The second conference of International Monetary Fund and International Organization of Securities Commission on Market-Based Finance, taking place in Washington, D.C., brought together global financial regulators, policymakers, and industry leaders to discuss the rapidly evolving landscape of capital markets. Correspondent Lydia Sampson reports.
The conference held at the International Monetary Fund headquarters focused on two transformative trends: the integration of artificial intelligence in the financial markets and the accelerating shift from traditional mutual funds to exchange-traded funds. Key sessions examined how AI is reshaping market dynamics from trading strategies to risk management, raising both opportunities and regulatory challenges. Notable speakers included Acting U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Mark Oyenda and IMF Financial Counselor Tobias Adrien, who engaged in discussions about safeguarding market integrity amidst technological innovation. The conference underscores the need for international cooperation to ensure that market-based finance continues to support economic growth while maintaining resilience in the face of new risks. The event formed the cornerstone of the IMF and World Bank spring meetings, reinforcing the critical role of robust, adaptive regulation in a fast-changing financial world. From Washington, D.C., Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And from D.C., let's go to Accra, where Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, says 219 Nigerian nationals suspected to be victims of human traffickers were apprehended by Ghana's Economic and Organized Crime Office. Garba Natala reports that they were arrested along with their agents in a joint operation in Comstock Estates, Oyarifa in Ghana.
Lured by enticing them with fake promises, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs advised them not to take such treacherous path ever. Bianca Ojukwu also says success requires patience and at all times look inward to utilize what Nigeria has to offer rather than give a negative impression about Nigeria. She observed the trafficked victims were mostly between the ages of 22 and 38.
11 of them are minors, 7 are female, and they were involved in cybercrime. The Commission has gone through the painstaking routine of profiling them, knowing those who are actually victims and those who are perpetrators. It's very clear that this is an organized syndicate.
It is all about intelligence. We have put many of these organized crime groups under surveillance. We have also shared our links and then our contact numbers. So as and when anybody picks information about such activities, they drop it there, we pick it, process, and then we operate.
Never again, they all promised that they have learned the hard way, seeing how their life was hanging in a balance. Next line of action, according to the minister, is for the federal government to repatriate them and enroll them in various empowerment schemes to become self-reliant. From Accra, Ghana, I am Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
Today is World Earth Day, and Awal Yusuf Jibo in our Lagos Network Center has this as a top story on Nationwide. Network Center.
The Earth continues to function as a viable habitat for billions of years to come. Environmentalists say we must prioritize clean energy sources and environmental protection. This is also the message as the world marks this year's International Mother Earth Day. Larry Belay has more.
The blue planet Earth is only known planet to support life, featuring diverse ecosystems, a unique atmosphere, and liquid water on its surface. The planet, estimated to be 4.54 billion years old, is under threat caused by one of the lives she hosts, humans. Human activities through the release of carbon dioxide and other gases like burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes are causing a rise in global temperatures.
The world has accepted that the major source of this warming is due to increased consumption of fossil fuel. Then the alternative is to try to see how we can reduce this consumption.
Climatologists and environmentalists are calling for transition to renewable energy sources and enhanced energy efficiency.
Nature has provided us with tremendous amounts of sunlight on a yearly basis. We have areas in our country that have almost constant wind blowing, and we also have water sources that are moving. We have rivers and streams, and we also have the oceans. When these various natural sources are tapped, we can lead the way as the giant of Africa.
There should be incentives for people who are working in this sector, producing in this sector, I mean the private sector. The government should incentivize the private sector to take a lead in driving the process with regard to renewable energy.
It is a call to action for all and not just the government. Changes in lifestyle such as use of recyclable products, renewable energy, proper waste disposal, circular economy, support for policies like climate action are also crucial. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
Away from the environment, and following the death of Pope Francis, head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City-State on Easter Monday, people from different backgrounds have been reacting to his demise. One of them is the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Alfred Adewale Martins, who extolled his leadership qualities, adding that the Church will uphold his legacies.
Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Argentina, Francis became the first Jesuit and first Latin American Pope in 2013. He supervised a rise in global Catholic population and reshaped the College of Cardinals to better reflect the Church's global diversity.
He played his role in a very, very dignified way, bringing new experiences, new ways of living the faith to us, the followers.
To the Catholic Church, Pope Francis was more than a spiritual father. He was a reformer. He brought humility, inclusiveness, and compassion to the papacy, urging the Church to focus on mercy, service, and solidarity. His voice echoed for the poor, the planet, and for peace.
Pope Francis also served for us as a real model in terms of inter-religious dialogue. His message to us about the care of the environment is extremely invaluable. It's not a coincidence that the Lord called him to come back home and have an encounter with him that will last for eternity.
Regarded as a humble reformer, one who declined lavish Vatican traditions, Pope Francis' humility and vision reshaped the modern Church, and his legacy will not be forgotten in a hurry.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Ayo in Abuja. Ayo, it's back to you.
Thanks, Awol. The Catholic Church is observing a 9-day mourning period following the demise of Pope Francis. Ahead of his burial this week, correspondent Omenka Amarachuku looks at the traditional process involved in the burial ceremony.
This burial process will follow traditional Catholic Church customs.
For the Vatican to have brought out the news, it means that the confirmation of death has been done. The chief cardinal takes a silver hammer, taps the Pope on the head 3 times, and then asks him if he's dead. If there's no response, the Pope is declared dead. And of course, the bells of the Vatican are rung to signify that the pontiff has died.
The Pope's body will be placed in a simple wooden coffin with a zinc lining in the private papal chapel for the rite of the assignment of death and disposition in the coffin. Afterwards, the coffin will be transported in a solemn procession to St. Peter's Basilica, where it will be placed near the main altar for public viewing and prayer. The casket will then be brought to the place of burial, which, according to Pope Francis' wishes, will be the Basilica of St. Mary Mayor, due to his strong devotion to Mary.
He is our final authority in the Catholic Church, so he decides what he wants for himself. As long as he was alive and was conscious and could make decisions and decided that this is how I want to be buried or where I want to be buried, that decision stands. You cannot revoke it. So the wishes of the Pope will be met. They are not anything bad, nothing out of the way. They are just wishes. He wants to be buried in a church, a very significant church also, full of history and memory, instead of being buried in the Vatican along with many other popes buried there.
The funeral will be celebrated in St. Peter's Square as the church mourns. The faithful will continue to pray for the repose of the Pope's soul. In Abuja, Umeka Rachuku, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion expresses deep sorrow over the passing of Pope Francis, who died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. In a letter addressed to the Apostolic Nuncio to Nigeria, Archbishop Michael Francis Crotty, the primate of the Church of Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, describes the Pope as a humble and selfless servant of God, whose legacy will endure. Archbishop Ndukuba hails the Pope's commitments to Christian unity, justice, peace and care for the poor, noting that his celebration of Easter Mass just hours before his death was proof of his unwavering devotion. The primate extends condolence on behalf of the bishops, clergy and faithful of the Anglican Church to the global Catholic community, praying for comfort and guidance as the Church prepares to elect a new leader. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Nigeria from his private visits to France and United Kingdom. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, and some cabinet members received the President on arrival. Before departure on 2nd of April, the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, announced that the President proceeded on the break to appraise his administration's mid-term performance and assess key milestones. He also used the retreat to review the progress of ongoing reforms and engage in strategic planning ahead of his administration's second anniversary. Subsequently, the Presidential Advisor also reviewed when President Tinubu proceeded to London, United Kingdom from Paris. Ononuga indicated that President Tinubu remained fully engaged in Nigeria's governance, even as he was away in Europe, constantly communicating with key government officials, overseeing critical national matters, including directives to security chiefs to address emerging threats in some parts of the country. Elsewhere, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu felicitates with the Emir of Ilorin, His Royal Highness Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, on his 85th birthday, today, April 22nd. This is contained in a message from the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The President commends Alhaji Sulu Gambari, a former Justice of the Court of Appeal and now Chairman of the Kwara State Council of Traditional Rulers, for his unwavering commitment to nation building, demonstrated by his consistent advocacy for unity, peace and progress. The President also congratulates Barrister Adeniji Kazim on his unanimous selection as the President of the Ansaruddin Society Worldwide at the Society's Triennial Delegates Conference in Ogun State. President Tinubu describes Kazim's emergence as the leader of the 100-year-old Islamic Society as a testament to his unwavering commitment to the Islamic faith and values. This is Nationwide. Let's go for a break. When we return, we'll be connecting with our Jos Network Center, and Bill Kisu will take it up from there.
to Jos. The Senate Committee on Solid Minerals Development has reaffirmed its commitments to revitalizing Nigeria's mining sector through inclusive legislative reforms. Chairman of the committee, Senator Mustafa Habib, gave the assurance during the Senate Committee engagement with stakeholders and Miners Association in Plateau State and Women in Mining in Jos. The report. It will be recalled on 21st February, the Plateau State government gave an executive order suspending all mining activities in the state over security concerns. The Senate Committee on Solid Minerals Development was in Plateau State for an oversight function and interfaced with stakeholders in the mining sector. The forum provided platform for stakeholders to express concern over insecurity around mining sites, lack of capital, poor infrastructure, and the need for training and proper regulation. The Chairman Mining Association of Plateau State Chapter appreciated the Senate Committee for the interface, calling on them to enhance inclusivity and sustainability in Nigeria's mining sector.
I think they have sought to see and understand our challenges so that a way out can be sought, so that it will be a win-win for us as private sector operators.
Chairman of the Senate Committee, represented by the Vice Chairman, Senator Mustafa Habib, says the Senate is working to introduce reforms that will improve access to funding, enhance security, and create a more enabling environment for mining activities.
I'm living here enriched with better new ideas. So when I go, when we are passing bills, my contribution is going to be better than when I came here.
Women in mining also called for inclusivity in decision-making and more support for women miners. Plateau State government is working on the abandoned road project to enhance socio-economic activities in the state. Indiang and Abuja has details.
Road development is a catalyst to enhance rural and urban transportation, thereby improving socio-economic activities of citizens. In view of this, Plateau government is rehabilitating 49 roads across the state to bring relief to the people, particularly at the grassroots. Government's assessment of the project in Pankshin, Shandam, and Wase local government areas follows urgent need to address the dilapidated state of infrastructure in Plateau State. The team inspected abandoned road in Lantang, which disrupts connectivity through southeast, north central, and other local government areas.
The quality of the bridge and then the concrete mixture, I think the engineer satisfied and told me, yes, though we are going to do more tests to carry out this one with what we saw on the ground, but we are going to do more physical tests and to see that it's satisfactory. But to me,
state government, as long as the funding is available, yes, the approvals are available, we will complete this job within the next 6 to 8 dry months.
The commissioner says Dokan Kaswa and Dokan Tofa, Tubwal, and Kwal will also be constructed to address drainage and erosion control challenges, especially in the southern zone. Indenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Jos. Is back to Ayodeji in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thanks, Bilkisu. The United Nations has convened a background briefing for international media, which includes the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, with COP30 President-designate Andre Correa Dolago and Special Advisor to the UN Secretary-General on the upcoming meeting of 6 leaders at the Conference of Parties in Belém, Brazil. Charles Alpha reports.
The virtual press conference was convened ahead of the representative group of heads of state and government, which comes up tomorrow to discuss how to strengthen global efforts to tackle the climate crisis and accelerate a just energy transition. With the EU poised to be part of the meeting, discussions were on the nationally determined contributions, NDCs, and the need for countries to step up their commitment ahead of COP30, with September as timeline for submission.
I believe that for us to reach 1.3 trillion, we have to really rethink many of the bases on which we have been discussing finance under the UNFCCC and the Paris Accord. But all that is to be seen in the preparation of COP30 and for you all to come to Berlin.
Issues raised bordered on the escalating climate event, the withdrawal of the U.S. from the Paris Accord, and the potential of the next conference of parties, COP30, providing a different perspective from the last two COPs. Others were on redoubling efforts on renewable energy financing as well as transparency in negotiations. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
2 million Nigerians, mostly women and youth, are the intended targets of a mass empowerment scheme being worked out in a collaboration between Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu's Renewed Hope Initiative and Leadership Newspapers. Chairman of Leadership Newspapers, Zainab Nda Isaiah, led her management team to the office of the First Lady, where the proposed partnership was sealed. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Leading a 5-man delegation to the office of Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, the chairman of Leadership Newspapers, Zainab Nda Isaiah, says her organization has taken due note of the activities of the First Lady's pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative, and is impressed with the impact of its interventions. The organization hopes to expand the scope of these interventions with a proposed collaboration that will ultimately put economic power in the hands of about 2 million Nigerians.
The important role of more or less taking care of the less privileged in the nation, those places where people, many times they say many things but really don't make an impact. I see your impact. So I thought it pertinent to just lead a team here to say we support you, we see you, and we appreciate what you're doing for our nation.
The idea is to trade in 5 designated areas. It includes tie and dye, fishery, leather works, an additional 2 other initiatives designed to meet the needs of different sectors of the economy. The idea, therefore, is that once you're able to train about 1,000 persons, 1,000 persons will train additional 4 persons each.
With its potential to further scale up economic empowerment among Nigerians, the proposed collaboration ties in with the vision of RHI, and the First Lady expressed willingness to partner with the newspapers.
Yours is, a credible organization. I believe that with all that you are doing, you just want to do good and partner with that. So wherever state you want to work in, you let us know, how many numbers you want to empower, and then once we have the number, then we can always, get going.
This is the first time that RHI is officially partnering with a media organization on its economic empowerment program. In the State House, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
The federal government says genetically modified organisms, GMOs, are safe and will ensure food security. This follows concerns on the safety of genetically modified organisms, which include plants, animals, and microorganisms, for improving nutritional values and increased yields. The Minister of State Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, gave the assurance at a workshop on harnessing biotechnology for sustainable agricultural development and improved public health. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Debate surrounding genetically modified organism, experts in biotechnology say is complex and multifaceted. While some argue that GMO offers benefits, others raise concerns over safety, potential health risks such as allergies, cancer, and environmental impacts. And this meeting tends to erase doubts as research continues on genetic engineering techniques.
Government has also put in place mechanism to ensure that those deployments of biotechnology is done within a regulatory framework that keeps it safe for Nigeria. So I can use this opportunity to assure Nigerians that within that regulatory frameworks, biotechnology is safe, whether in agriculture, whether in health, whether in the environmental sector.
In Nigeria, several genetically modified crops have been approved for commercial use, with soya beans and sorghum awaiting approval. But traceability, labeling of GMO products are still concerns.
And we are using biofertilizer to stay away from this chemical fertilizer so that we can use in our farm. And there is an industry of multi-billion-dollar across the globe using this technology. And that is why Nigeria has chosen this biotechnology to be part of the engine room for economic development.
Experts emphasized the need for assessment and regulation to ensure public trust. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Now, Nigeria's Army's first Director of Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Apollonia Anele, has assumed office with the resolve to positively project Nigerian Army's image and efforts at national security. Lieutenant Colonel Anele, a member of Direct Course 15, was a public relations officer in the office of the Chief of Army Staff. She becomes the first woman to serve as a Director Army Public Relations. Until her recent appointment, she served at the Defense Headquarters Department of Civil Military Relations.
To lead the Directorate with transparency, professionalism, respect, and proactiveness. We will continue to tell the Nigerian Army story, not just through words, but through actions that reflect honor, sacrifice, responsibility, and service to the nation.
It has indeed been a journey of transformation, of redefining Army public relations, not just as a support service, but as a strategic arm in contemporary warfare.
The former Director, Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Wachuku, has been redeployed to the Nigerian Army Future Heritage Center. African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Democracy has appealed to the federal government to revisit the white paper on the cleanup of Ogoni land and other parts of Niger Delta facing ecological challenges, especially regular oil spillage and hydrocarbon extraction. The center raised the advocacy during a policy brief on the disaster rocking the oil-rich region of the country in order to permanently address the problems which have destroyed fertile lands, aquatic lives and rural economy across several parts, producing hundreds of barrels of crude oil and other energy alternatives in the region.
There were 1,300 recorded OSPs, amounting to an average of 5 OSPs a day, according to data by National OSP Detention and Response Agency.
The level of contamination in parts of the Niger Delta, especially Ogoni land, is catastrophic. Hydrocarbon pollution has infiltrated the water, soil, and even the air, leaving in its wake a trail of health challenges, economic dislocation, and societal disempowerment.
Center LSD called for increased advocacy by civil society organizations and the media to attract attention of government and other relevant authorities for the enforcement of remedial measures to plights of the Niger Delta. Kaduna Network Center is next on Nationwide, and Salamatu has the next set of reports.
Ayo Deji, and glad to have you join us here. Girl-child education is receiving another boost in Kaduna State with a partnership with the World Bank to ensure the success of the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project in the state. The Commissioner for Education, Professor Muhammad Sani Bello, stated this during a visit by the World Bank's Regional Vice President to Government Girls Secondary School in Kawu, Kaduna. Clement Olorun Toba reports.
It was a moment of celebration for the students of Government Girls Secondary School Kawu as they witnessed the completion of 2 new classrooms, part of the many building projects supported by the World Bank through the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile. This project has had a positive impact on the education of students like Success Eleminia and Salamatu Hassan.
Nigeria has done a lot. They are positively impacting students, giving us the right mentality, building a mental cage in us that yes, education is for all, especially education to the girls.
Now the school is like a private school that every girl would like to attend. We thank the Agile for being so nice.
Learning spaces have been improved. Classrooms, you can go around public schools in Kaduna and see the improvements in classrooms, provision of water, solar-powered boreholes, and then wash facilities, modern toilets.
Usmani Dagana is the World Bank Regional Vice President for Nigeria.
Agile is a response to this very difficult issue and create a condition for girls to go to school, to learn, to strive, and in doing that to have kind of multiplying effect in order to make sure that all the girls can continue to go to school.
As the host, the Kaduna State government reaffirmed its commitment to continue partnership with the World Bank for further development in the education sector.
They believe in the kind of leadership we are putting in place and our zeal to make sure we reduce to the minimum level out of school children in the state.
Agile Project, which has renovated more than 600 public schools in Kaduna State, is the World Bank response to the issue of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Clement Oloruntowa, NT News.
Away from upliftment of girls' education, women occupying elective positions in Kaduna State have renewed their call for increased female participation in politics. This was re-echoed at a women capacity building workshop held at Kaduna State House of Assembly. Adamu Sunday reports that participants agreed to create inclusive models of governance that future generations can be proud to inherit and build upon.
Despite a growing desire among women to take on leadership roles in politics, records show that only a few actively engage or contest for elected positions in the country. In an effort to close this gap and inspire greater female participation in politics, the Office of the Majority Leader of the Kaduna State House of Assembly organized a one-day capacity building workshops designed to empower women with the skills and confidence to lead effectively.
This initiative will undoubtedly strengthen our democracy and advance our collective vision for a more equitable Kaduna State, where leadership talent is recognized and nurtured regardless of gender.
Whenever you find a good woman, a sincere woman in public or in office, she will do good and better than even we men, including you.
It is important for us to join hands and discuss about our challenges and discuss how we understand our roles, our responsibilities, and our duties as legislators. We can't just go to the House and warm seats, take pictures, and at the end of the day, leave without making any impact. So this is why I am changing the narrative.
The workshop titled, Leading with Impact, focused on strengthening the capacity of elected female officials and enabling them to deliver inclusive and transformational governance within their communities. Chairman of Jabaloho Government Area, Larry Sylvia Ishaku, described the initiative as a timely call to action for women in leadership.
Being in the cycle of the men, you will have to be very, very careful with your choice of words, how you talk to them. Above all, you have to massage their ego so that you have a smooth sail while in office.
Participants agreed that the workshop provided tools, knowledge, and strategies to help women navigate the challenges of leadership while leveraging their strength to drive meaningful and lasting change. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
And Adamu Sunday's report completes our package from here. We'll be going on a short break now, and thereafter, Benin Network Center will be next on Nationwide. Stay tuned.
Come back. This is Benin Network Center. Governor Mondo Bello emphasized the importance of community cooperation in driving development, promising that his administration will work diligently to improve the lives of Edo people. Goodluck Enaini reports that the governor was speaking at St. Anthony Catholic Cathedral in Urumi, revealed that he has awarded additional road contracts aimed at enhancing infrastructural development across the state.
Among the notable projects announced is the construction of a dual carriageway that will connect Uromi to Abuja, a move designed to facilitate better transportation links and support economic growth in the region. He also mentioned plans for alternative routes to reduce congestion, including a new road from Uromi to Iwora via Unewa and Wesan, where ongoing developments are already being observed.
Development is knocking at our door. Just as we came into the office, I've awarded between Ekoma to Ubiaja. Now we are going to have a dual carriage road on the old road to Ubiaja. I saw the contractor have resumed work. They started from Ubiaja. Initially we said we are going to do just one lane, but later I said, as an ESA man, we have to have a sound legacy. That is the reason for the dual carriage. So we awarded the second dual carriage, approved by the ESCO. Asia is ready for expansion.
In a gesture of goodwill, the governor made a donation to support the continued development of the cathedral, underscoring his connection to the church community and commitment to local initiatives. The Bishop of Uromi Diocese, Right Reverend Ogundonatus Osa, thanked the governor for his move to ensure peace in Uromi and the state at large, following his actions after the killing in Uromi. From Uromi, Goodluck Enaini, NTA.
Begging is becoming a flourishing urban menace, with many of the perpetrators of this act looking strong and able. They often get the attention of some charitable persons who give them money and in other instances material gifts. What could be responsible for this trend? Correspondent Elizabeth Omoko tells us more.
Conventionally, begging is associated with those in poor shape and need support. The situation is now different. Persons without any form of disability, looking hale and hearty, now see begging as a lucrative form of business. They devise all forms of tactics to win the sympathy of those they meet. The increasing number of such cases is now a concern, as this practice will not allow those with charitable minds distinguish the genuine beggars from the fake ones.
You know, all fingers are not equal. There are some who are naturally made to be poor. There are ways of taking care of them. If you just go there and want to give them something, they will rush you. They will intimidate you.
You see people running after you wanting to collect money. I think it's a wrong mindset. This was not the kind of country we have many years ago.
I give today, another person gives, another person gives, another person gives. So that way now, they are using that as an avenue to make more money.
These places like Ring Road, Lagos Street, you will see small children, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they'll be running after a car.
They suggest way forward.
There's failure in society, there's failure of religion, there's failure of government, and these have come together, accumulate together, that it is people now see it as norm.
Government must do something proactively, urgently, to remove them from the streets.
And they should go and learn skills, like there's something like shoemaking. They can become a boss on their own.
Givers, they say, never lack, and the holy books enjoined us to give just as the Spirit leads. After all, blesses the hands that give it, that the one that take it. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
That's it from Benin. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ayo DG.
Annually in our Benin Network Center, thanks for the contribution. From Benin, let's go to the east of the Niger as All Progressives Congress, APC, Enugu State says it is strategizing and building a formidable party to take over the governance of the state in 2027. The state party chairman, Ugochukwu Agbala, was speaking while receiving new members at an expanded stakeholders meeting of the party in Enugu. Chimaroke Ugu has the reports.
The expanded meeting of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Enugu was to engage critical stakeholders and leaders in the 17 local government areas while reinforcing the collective vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. To ensure the party takes its rightful place in Enugu State, the party chairman, Ugochukwu Agbala, maintained that members must embark on active participation in grassroots mobilization.
The only way Enugu can liberate itself is by making sure
we align with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Giving some eminent personalities into the party, the chairman maintained that the broom is a formidable force to sweep out bad governance and charged them against anti-party activities.
The broom symbolizes our unity. It symbolizes our effectiveness.
The Sika is the epicenter of what will happen in 2027. And we are equal to the task.
If that with APC, we will fight for policies that will lift our people up.
Meanwhile, the Ozowani local government chapter of the All Progressives Congress has suspended indefinitely former Senator Chukwuka Utazi for engaging in anti-party activities, including his involvement with the PDP as well as public criticism of the APC. The decision followed a petition from the Mbologu ward, a disciplinary investigation, and the senator's refusal to appear before the committee with supporting video evidence presented. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development dismisses reports claiming that a fixed and lengthy concession period has been agreed upon for the Akano Ibiam International Airport in Enugu. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Communications to the Minister, Tunde Moshood, the ministry describes the claims as baseless and untrue. The clarification follows recent online reports alleging that a specific concession duration had already been approved. The ministry confirmed that while the federal government is evaluating proposal to concession 5 major airports, including Enugu, no decision has been finalized on the duration or terms. According to the ministry, all submissions are still undergoing a rigorous review process led by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, after which recommendations will be presented to the Federal Executive Council for approval. The Minister further stated that any information suggesting a predetermined concession duration is false, unfounded, and intended to cause disaffection and mistrusts in the process. Well, just a bit of a miscommunication, but let's get it straight now because the Ikoyi Custodial Center in Lagos has received a major operational lift thanks to the donation of a new bus. With nearly 90% of inmates awaiting trial, the daily challenge of getting them to court has long strained the facility. However, a donation by Trinity House Church and its senior pastor, Itwa Igoralo, is expected to ease the pressure and accelerate justice delivery.
If you give these inmates 5-star food every day without taking them to court, you come here one day and see that nobody is here. But if they have access to the court, their release is assured. And that is their comfort.
We are here to serve Nigeria. We are here to support Nigeria. We are here to make life better for the ordinary people. And that is what we will continue to do. God giving us grace.
Amen.
This gesture, he notes, is a reminder of what is possible when faith-based organizations and public institutions work hand in hand. And time now to go over to sports updates.
Nigeria's under-18 and under-20 women's handball teams won the matches at the IHF Women's Trophy Zonal Phase Championship ongoing in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The under-18 girls had to work hard to earn a 36-33 victory over Burkina Faso, while the under-20 side had a convincing win over Togo, 52-8. The under-18 girls had to overturn a 3-goal deficit to edge Burkina Faso in the trailing encounter, which saw the Burkina Faso side dominate proceedings from the first half before the Nigerian side turned the game around in the second half. Nigeria's under-20 men's football team, the Flying Eagles, are already in Cairo, Egypt, ahead of the 17th Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, which begins this Sunday. The Flying Eagles contingent made up of 24 players and 9 officials will take on the Young Pharaohs of Egypt Tuesday evening in a friendly match as part of its build-up for the tournament scheduled for April 27 to 18 May 2025. Nigeria will begin its campaign at the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations against Tunisia at the 30 June Stadium in Cairo, Egypt on Thursday, 1st of May, 2025. On the local scene, a comprehensive medical checkup conducted by the Nationwide League One (NLO) has resulted in 44 players being deemed unfit to participate in the 2025 season. The medical test conducted by authorized doctors revealed various health issues amongst the players. The 44 players who failed the medical test come from 31 teams registered for the 2025 season. Offa Club tops the list with 6 players failing the medical test, while Campro FCT has 4 players certified unfit. Medical checkup is a standard procedure before the start of the season. 2 weightlifting, 6 Nigerian weightlifters and 2 officials, and now in Mauritius for the 2025 African Weightlifting Championship. The contingent comprises of 4 women and 2 men lifters who will be competing in 6 weight categories at the championship. The 2025 African Weightlifting Championship is slated for the 23rd to the 28th of April in Mocha, Mauritius. Nigeria enters the competition following an impressive outing at the last edition in 2024 in Egypt, where the country's team won 11 medals, 6 gold and 5 silver. With Sports Update, Gift George, NTA News.
And that's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji. Makinde from all of us here in Abuja and the contributes in network centers. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.